Have you ever had a Boy Scout come to you asking for assistance with his Eagle Scout service project? Their request may have been for project ideas or even solicitation for a donation of, or reducing pricing on, materials and supplies for use in completing the project. The Eagle Scout Service Project is the culmination of several years of dedicated work and study by the Eagle Scout candidate. In addition to providing service and fulfilling the part of the Scout Oath to help other people at all times, for the Eagles candidate, the primary purpose of the Eagle Scout Service Project is to learn or improve and demonstrate leadership attributes he has been introduced to and practiced during his time in Scouting. He will also be developing important project management skills and taking responsibility for a significant accomplishment. To do this, the Eagle candidate must find and develop a project that will benefit any religious institution, school, or his community. While many of us think of our community as the place where we live, for the candidate, the community he serves is the community of the world. As such, his project may not be local to where he lives, but may be a food bank in a small town or a church miles from home that has been damaged in a storm. As a potential beneficiary, if the candidate comes to you for project ideas, keep in mind that an Eagle-worthy service project must be complex enough that the Scout has to plan how much time the project will take, what skills and supplies will be required to accomplish the task, and how will he accomplish it. It may be a construction, conservation, or remodeling project, or it could be the presentation of an event with a worthwhile purpose. Typical projects include, but are not limited to, building birdhouses for an arboretum, conducting a well-planned blood drive, collecting bicycles for refurbishment and redistribution to low-income families, or installing benches at a school for students waiting for buses or parent pickup. And while he needs to be aware of permits that may be required and other site design and preparation considerations, it is the responsibility of the beneficiary to obtain those permits and professional designs. Additionally, the project should not be so complex so as to require months of preparation and work to accomplish, nor should it just require him to execute a canned set of instructions. Remember, the project is to provide the candidate the opportunity for planning, development, and leadership. Other than some general restrictions and limitations, there are no specific requirements for project scope or how many hours are worked, nor is there any requirement that the project have lasting value. What is most important is the impact or benefit the project will provide to your organization and/or the community. In choosing a project, it is important to remember it must be something a group with perhaps limited skills can accomplish under the leadership of the Eagle Scout candidate. And it is important that you work with the candidate and not with his parents or other adult leaders. While a project may take place over a period of time, there are also no minimum number of hours of work required. And while only one candidate can be granted credit per project, there are no restrictions on allowing more complex projects to be broken up into phases or stages that allow multiple candidates to plan and accomplish each one of those individually. With this in mind, there are some additional considerations to remember. The project is not to be routine in nature, which is generally defined as a job or service normally provided as part of the daily functioning of your organization, or a routine maintenance function normally provided by your organization, such like pulling weeds or cutting grass. Projects may not be commercial in nature or for a business, though this restriction is not meant to disallow work for community institutions such as museums or service organizations. Once completed, the Scout is not responsible for any maintenance of the project. Finally, Eagle projects that primarily collect money, even for worthy charities, are not permitted. However, this does not prohibit a candidate from soliciting donations to pay for the project, including donations in kind of materials, supplies, or food for the work detail. Once a potential project is identified, you must approve your Scout's proposal. Regular communications can make this quick and easy, but be sure you have discussed and considered all aspects of the project with him and that he has a clear understanding of your expectations and limitations. Keep in mind, his proposal is merely an overview, not a comprehensive plan. Scouts working toward the Eagle rank are typically busy, so scheduling flexibility may be important. The proposal must also have several approvals beside yours before the project planning occurs and work begins. Therefore, if a proposed project must be completed by a certain rapidly approaching date, it may be a good idea to consider something different. Remember, too, that all work must be completed before the Scout's 18th birthday. After his proposal is approved by the BSA local council, your scout must develop a plan for implementing the project. Before work begins, you should ask to see the plan. It may come in any format you desire or are willing to accept. It could even be a detailed verbal description. That said, the BSA includes a project plan form in your Scout's Eagle Scout Service Project Workbook, and we recommend that you ask your scout to use it. If in your plan review you have any concerns the project may run into trouble or not produce the results you want, do not hesitate to require improvements before work begins. As previously mentioned, if the project requires building permits, etc., your scout needs to know about them for his planning. However, your organization must be responsible for all permitting. If digging is involved, it is your responsibility to locate, mark, and protect underground utilities as necessary. This is not a duty for the scout. Also, your organization must sign any contracts, and if you need approval from a committee, your organization's management, or a parent organization, be sure to allow for additional time to let the scout know if he has to assist with this. Eagle Scout Service projects often require fundraising. Donations of any money, materials, or services must be pre-approved by the BSA unless provided by your organization, by the scout, his parents, or relatives, or by the troop or its chartered organization. The scout must make it clear to donors or fundraising event participants that the money is being raised on the project's beneficiary's behalf and that the beneficiary will retain any leftover funds. If receipts are needed, your organization must provide them. If your organization is not allowed to retain leftover funds, you should designate a charity to receive them or turn them over to your Scouts unit. If you are a community business leader, should a candidate come to you and you agree to assist, at your request, the candidate should be able to provide you with a letter on the unit's letterhead signed by his adult leader specifying what the donation will be used for. To meet the requirement to give leadership to others, the Eagle candidate must be given every opportunity to succeed independently without direct supervision. The Scouts troop must provide adults to assist or keep an eye on things, and your organization should also have someone available. The Scout, however, must provide the leadership necessary for project completion without adult interference. Through the proposal and planning process, the Scout will identify potential hazards and risks and outline strategies to prevent and handle injuries or emergencies. Scouts, as minors, however, cannot be held responsible for safety. Adults must accept this responsibility. Property owners, for example, are responsible for issues and hazards related to their property or employees and any other individuals or circumstances they would normally be responsible for controlling. If during project execution you have any concerns about health and safety, please share them with the Scout and his leaders so action may be taken. If necessary, you may stop work on the project until concerns are resolved. After the project has been completed, your Scout will ask for your approval on his project report. The report will be used in the final review of his qualifications for the Eagle Scout rank. If the Scout has met your reasonable expectations, you should approve the project. If he has not, you should ask for corrections. This is not the time, however, to request changes or additions beyond what was originally agreed. The Eagle Scout Service Project is an accomplishment a Scout will always remember. Your reward will be a helpful project and, more importantly, the knowledge that you have contributed substantially to the young man's growth.